All right, we're
Woohoo!
live. Here we are. This is episode 8. This is starting to feel like a routine.
It's starting to, yeah, finally.
Well,
After we came up with the name 4 episodes ago.
4 episodes in, we finally got a name that was less stupid than Weekly Hangout with Nate on Technology. That was the stupidest thing I've ever produced in my life.
That's all
Uh,
right.
but it happens, it's
Exactly.
creative things, you got to do on the fly.
But for
We
those
just
of you wondering, obviously, since Google is showing you now, my name is Nathaniel Naw, or as you can call me Nate,
And my name is Evan. In case you're curious. Let's see.
and blind.
Camera camera is acting up right now. So if you're watching this and not seeing what you think you should be seeing, I apologize, but I don't
It's
have
all his
video of
fault.
myself. Do you have
Well,
video of
that's
me
not
on your
good.
end? Do you
What's
have
up?
video? Do you have video of me on your end?
Yes, sir. I see every breath you take.
That's creepy but reassuring at the same time
It
for me.
is, isn't
So,
it?
so I'll just let it go. I don't care if I can see myself as long as it's working out there on the interwebs. We'll just let you know up front that we do have a relatively short show. Nate's got to be somewhere. It was a slow week, so we don't want to keep you here for an hour if there's not a whole lot to talk about. So, we'll just see where it goes or where it ends. It ends. But if you're here right now, be sure to like this video and subscribe to my channel, and be sure to come back every week, and we'll just get into it now.
Yep. Let's rock
All
this
right.
party.
So the first thing I wanted to discuss was I'm going to try and figure out the video while we talk. Uh, Google Plus, as you probably remember if you have a YouTube account, used to, I guess you could say recently, made you sign up for a Google Plus account whenever you wanted to have a YouTube account. And for a while, they basically tried to talk you into using your real name. And they finally took that back and stopped making people
Yeah,
do
because
that.
that's just not a good idea at all.
How do you feel about that? I don't know how I feel about that.
My thing about using your full, like your real name on, social media, even video sharing sites, it's just not a good idea because then people they can Google you and then just go through everything you've ever done on the internet, including stuff you've never done on the internet, and find you because archives are a bitch.
You're not making me feel safe because I have a YouTube channel
Yes, I
with
know.
my name
And it says
with my name
"Illinois
on it.
Pay."
It says it right on there. But you know what?
Yes.
I took myself off white pages. You can't find it. So good luck, stalkers. Good luck. Uh, yeah,
Sorry, suckers.
yeah. Seriously. I mean, it's controversial, but I don't know. I think they did do the right thing by not making people do it because some people are comfortable with it and some people aren't, and that kept some people off YouTube. It kept all 10 people that use Vimeo at Vimeo. So
Hey,
uh,
man, I use Vimeo quite a bit.
religiously though,
Not religiously, no.
there you go.
YouTube, yes, but otherwise, no.
See, I'm going with the religious Vimeoers. See, that doesn't even sound right. You could say YouTuber, but you definitely can't say
Vimeo
Vimeoer. No, you can't do that.
Vimiite, maybe? Uh, Either way, it's stupid.
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 Let's see.
You
Oh,
can't fix
next.
stupid, but you can beat it with a 2x4.
You can. It depends what state you're in, but yeah.
Yeah.
Uh, the next thing is right up Nate's alley, as there always seems to be some sort of automotive news. He's getting excited over there. The Tesla is coming out with new models, and since I don't know jack about this thing, I'm just gonna divert to Nate.
Okay, so the new one, thank you, Evan. The new one is going to be called the Model 3 because they can't call it the Model E because Ford got pissy and said no, although it would have been hysterical because then they would have had the Models S, E, and X. But at any rate, we think about that one for a minute. But at
Oh
any
my
rate,
God.
the new one's going to come out in 2017. It's going to cost about $30,000. It will be a four-door, and you better believe it's going to look like everything else in Tesla's lineup, long and swoopy and just really gorgeous. But at any rate, that's going to be really cool, and I cannot wait for that to come out. The bigger news is I get to drive a Tesla Model S this Saturday at 9 a.m. And you
As you
better
can
believe
tell,
when we leave the lot, I am going to be roasting those tires.
as you can tell, Nate's excited as shit right now to
Just
drive
a
a
little
Tesla.
bit, yes. I've known about it for about a day and a half, and it's just been like, I get to drive a Model S, doo-dah, doo-dah, just kind of partying. So yeah, that and some other really good news that I got this week. So,
So what can you tell us about the Tesla?
um,
Any specs that we should know about?
no, nothing yet, other than the fact that they're expecting around a $30,000 price tag, which I think is going to put it well in the reach of quite a few people. And by the time it comes out, the supercharger network will be literally cross country in more places than just up by Nebraska. And I think there's actually one supercharger station in Normal, or Bloomington Normal. So there's that.
Are you talking about just a place to plug into your car?
Yes, I'm talking about the kind of place where you plug in your car and it charges to full in 20 minutes and you leave for free.
I don't know that they have actual superchargers in Normal, but I do know.
That's what the website says.
I mean, I'm sure they do have at least one, but I just don't know. I've never seen it. I know they have charging stations in general. Is there a difference?
Yes.
So there are
charging stations take anywhere from 4 to 8 hours. The superchargers take 20 minutes. And the superchargers are also solar powered.
Okay, I gotcha. I didn't realize there were two different grades because at ISU's campus, they're literally like in every parking lot. There's one, just a regular charging. There's just a regular charging station. So.
Well, at the same time, you could also do that at your house. So.
And I don't know how all that works. Does that raise your power bill a ton?
Not really, no. It takes about. I would say it adds about $1 a month.
Wow.
Your power bill. So it's not a whole lot, And never mind the fact that that whole area up there is just wind power and maybe one coal station. I think it's really not going to make any real dent in anyone's power bill anytime soon.
Okay. Well, that's good to know. Because that's something I'm looking to for the future is if Tesla's making cars for $30,000, count me in,
Absolutely. If they start making cars for $30,000, you better believe that my hearse is going in a garage and I'm going to be driving a Model E or 3 or whatever you want to call it.
Is it a 3 or an E? What did we decide?
They can't call it a Model E according to Ford and their bullshit lawsuit, but they can call it a Model 3. So you basically just take your E and turn it around.
Flip it, yeah, exactly. Like leak speak or something.
Right, yeah.
Speaking of cars, we've talked about the Google self-driving car. I don't know what the hell that's called anymore. I already forgot what it's called. But
I don't even know. I don't think I ever knew what it was called, not that I care.
Nate doesn't like it, and I don't know how I feel about it, but we do know how the FBI feels about it now.
And personally, I agree with them.
Yes, seriously. Well, okay, here's my thing. The FBI fears them because, and I quote, well, I don't know if it's an actual quote, but I quote the article I read, they fear that they can be used as terrorist tools. And I'm not sure if that's a legitimate concern. What do you think?
I have a very hard time believing that. I'm sure you can use a lot of stuff as a terrorist tool. And I understand that, some of these terrorist sects are absolutely high tech, but not the ones that we're fighting against. For Pete's sake, they're still using AK-47s, which I understand, they're reliable as hell, but they're not very accurate. You can find them anywhere for cheap. They were designed in the 50s, for Pete's sake. They're still using these damn things, and we expect them to be able to hack in to a self-driving car and use it as a. Oh, come on, really?
Well, and I don't even think that they're concerned about them hacking so much as physically coming to the United States and putting a bomb in it and setting the GPS to go somewhere. That's where I could see it being a concern, but at the same time, I don't know how that's different from anything else. We don't stop using airplanes just because terrorists can misuse them.
Right, exactly.
So
I mean, if we stop doing things because the terrorists might win, we're screwed because then they've already won. If we stop doing anything because they might get onto it, then they've already won.
That's exactly what they want, and that's the whole. I don't know. I feel like
every time we stop doing something because a terrorist might win, Jesus kills a kitten.
Well, I don't know how Jesus feels about the life of a kitten, but but yeah, I definitely agree that if we stop innovating just because our innovations might become misused, I don't know. That's kind of their goal, and we shouldn't really cater to that. I don't think.
Right.
Uh,
But at the same time, we also shouldn't be inventing self-driving cars to begin with.
right. I disagree with the self-driving car, but I also disagree with the FBI thinking that we should
Stop
turn
innovating.
around. Right. It's kind of a catch-22 for us because we disagree with it, but we disagree with people disagreeing with it. So I don't know. I feel trapped right now. Do you feel trapped? I feel trapped.
Just a little bit, yes.
It's like a paradox. I'm so done with it. Uh, moving right along. We're 11 minutes into the show. If you're still here with us, make sure to like and subscribe. I gotta throw that in everywhere I can, just to make sure people keep coming back. Uh, but the next thing we want to talk about is everybody is trying to buy everybody in the cable industry. I think last week Comcast was trying to buy Time Warner Cable. Never going to happen. No one's ever going to let that happen. If they didn't let AT&T buy T-Mobile, there's no way in hell they're going to let
No.
anyone buy Time Warner Cable.
People
But
are still so, like, they're doing everything in their power to make sure that Ma Bell never happens again. You know what I
oh
mean?
yeah, and that's good.
Yes, absolutely. Well, here's the thing, though. I was talking to my dad about this literally today, about an hour and a half ago, and he, along with just about everyone else in the country at the time, never had a problem with Ma Bell, even if they were a monopoly.
It, that's scary, honestly. Uh, but like I said, they're never going to let anyone buy Time Warner Cable. Time Warner Cable is just too damn big as it is. But alas, 21st Century Fox tried to buy them for $80 billion, and I don't think it was rejected by any trade commissions or anything like that, but it was turned down by Time Warner Cable themselves, I believe.
I think you're right on that one. I read something about it. I didn't get a whole lot into detail about it, though.
I think Time Warner Cable just turned it down, just thinking, hey, you know what? We're with $81 billion. Thank you very much. So come back next week. So we'll
Come back
see.
next week when our net value has gone down.
Yeah, seriously. So, okay, since I didn't put this in the itinerary for the night, but did you happen to see? I don't know if you read The Verge. No. Well, I guess it was on a lot of websites, but I think it was some senior vice president of AOL did a customer service call to Comcast to cancel his service. Did you see this?
Ryan Clark or whatever his name is.
Ryan Block, yeah, yeah,
There
yeah,
we
Ryan
go.
Block.
I did. Yeah, I heard that.
Did you listen to the clip?
Yeah, I listened to the whole thing,
Eight
and I
minutes.
was just completely flabbergasted.
8 minutes.
8 minutes of sheer kiss my ass and cancel my service.
Seriously, and if
And
anyone here didn't see it, what happened was he called to cancel his Comcast service, which, in my opinion, and most of America's opinion, should be a no questions asked process.
mhm.
You're a consumer. You're not tied down to anything unless Comcast has contractual service agreements. But he called, cancel my service. The guy just keeps pressuring him. Why do you want to cancel the service? What about Comcast is not doing it for you? He's like, just cancel my service. And he didn't say
Cancel
anything.
my damn service.
That's
Period.
literally all. It was that short of a sentence. Cancel my service. It wasn't cancel my service and badger me about it, please, sir. And the Comcast rep just keeps going and going about, why don't you want the fastest internet in the nation? Why don't you? Huh? What
Does
does
it
that not
really
do for you?
fucking matter? No.
No. If I want to cancel
Oh,
my service, I want to cancel.
pardon me, pardon my French to the one listener we've got at the moment, or two listeners, however many. But seriously, it doesn't matter why I want to cancel my Comcast service. If I want to cancel my Comcast service, do it. You
Do
know?
it. Exactly. And
And I understand that Comcast and really every other company on the planet has this commission system to where you start the month and you've got a set commission, but for every customer that cancels their service, you take a bit of that commission off. So
yeah,
obviously you're driven to make sure that nobody cancels their service. I don't blame the CSA in this one or the customer service agent. I blame Comcast. I blame the companies.
I blame the system, like you said, and I I read The Verge for like everything. I read Engadget and Techno Buffalo and stuff, but The Verge is my primary source of news. If you haven't read them, check them out. It's theverge.com, TheVerge.com. They go from anywhere from technology to science, but they posted about the original Comcast call. And what I like about The Verge is that they don't just post and forget about stuff. They posted about that, and then the next day, today, they posted a kind of a expose, I guess,
That's what it sounds like.
about why that rep was such an annoyance. And it turns out, I think the title of the article was "Want to know why the Comcast rep was so annoying? He had to be." And
Yeah.
they went and talked to. Did you read this? They, they went and talked to some people who work for Comcast and found out that there's a system to where instead
I
of
read something about that on Gizmodo.
yeah, and I don't know, maybe Verge didn't do the original reporting, but that's where I read it. I think they did. I don't know. Somebody reached out to Comcast employees, found out how the system works for CSAs, and instead of rewarding getting new subscribers onto when they call in to obtain service and not cancel it, instead of that, they have a system where you start out with commission, and as people call in, you lose commission as people cancel. Like
And
this
that is
guy
just
was
complete horseshit.
yeah, it's absolute garbage because this guy was literally fighting for his paycheck. And poor guy, I was sitting there listening to the call last night thinking he was the biggest doofus in the world, but
Yeah.
he was fighting for his paycheck. I can't blame him anymore.
No, I really can't. And the whole time before I read any of that about how Comcast treats their CSAs, I was thinking to myself, wow, this dude is the biggest douche rocket I think I've ever heard.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter why I want to cancel. And then I read that, it's just like, holy crap, I actually feel sorry for this dude.
And I feel bad for everybody who's probably ripping it apart online right now. But at the same time, it sucks that they're putting their employees in that position. It really does.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
Uh, so
Here's as far as I'm concerned, the biggest statement that needs to be said. Shame on you, Comcast.
yeah, definitely. And I think it's just
If
a
you don't
flawed
treat your
system.
employees better than that you actually take money out of their salary just so you can keep customers, just so if you've got to make it to where your CSAs have to pester your customers into staying with the company, then you officially suck as an organization.
Because that says out loud to the world that we don't have confidence in our product. They
Yeah.
need to revamp the system because it's things like 20-day wait times for service calls and service outages, things like
Even
that.
AT&T blows that out of the water.
Seriously, and AT&T as a whole company was rated as like one of the worst customer service ratings in the world.
Yeah, it's pretty horrible.
Definitely the lowest of any wireless carrier. I know that for sure.
I think I'd rather work for, I don't know, Al Qaeda than work for AT&T.
Uh, I don't know about that one.
Hey man,
uh,
you can at least say their customer service is pretty excellent.
oh my god. Oh boy. We're gonna get in little trouble for this.
Probably.
And that one viewer is the NSA right now, just so you know.
The NSA?
The NSA. The NSA. Oh yeah.
What is that?
Oh, the spy.
Oh, duh.
Yeah. The NSA.
I
I was like,
I didn't hear the I heard
oh,
DNSA.
oh
I'm like,
no, not D. No, that's the Deutsch NSA. No.
yeah, Angela Merkel is listening.
I think we're. Yeah, never mind. That's a politics podcast right there. But if you have been following the net neutrality debate, and I want to get into the logistics of net neutrality because that's a 10-minute YouTube video in itself.
It is.
But the FCC opened up its floodgates a couple weeks ago to comments relating to net neutrality and the way they were handling it because right now they have the opportunity to regulate the internet as a public utility, which means companies would still compete to sell it, but it would be regulated as if it was the water industry and if it was the power industry, simply because that way it would be certain that they couldn't say Facebook traffic costs you more than Twitter traffic. And that's where net neutrality gets in, and I'm not going to go any further because that's, like I said, that's a whole different debate. But they're trying to get the public's opinion, and I like the way that sounds, but at the same time, it also tells me that they might also be listening to ISP's opinions,
Yeah.
almost
And
more so.
frankly, I don't really care what the ISP's opinions are.
No, nobody should, but they might,
Yeah.
because they got the super PACs behind them, getting them in office. So
Oh yeah. I mean, people are just donating so much money to these gigantic friggin' super PACs that are basically trying to kill the free internet. And it's why are people not doing anything about this? You know?
because people don't hear enough about it, people need to watch our show and hear about it.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's what
Tell
needs to
your
happen.
friends, folks.
Tell your friends, come learn you some on the show on the Tangential
You gonna
Tech.
learn today.
You're gonna learn today, boy. You're gonna learn today. I don't even know what that's from, but I hear it all the time.
Kevin Hart
Is it?
did a stand-up bit with he was talking about one time how he was at a spelling bee, and his old man showed up, and his old man just started throwing out all sorts of insults and trash talk in the crowd, and one of the things that came up was, all right, all right, all right, you gonna learn today, and that's kind of where that came from.
That's awesome.
It's pretty hysterical, especially when I realized that my mother did that exact same thing.
She said that to you out loud.
No, no, no. She would, whenever she'd show up for, because I used to be in a lot of spelling bees, but whenever she would show up for things, when other people would show up for things in my family, they would do the exact same thing.
Well, speaking of technology failures,
If
as
our
that
one
seems to
listener
be.
happens to be Mom, I love you, Mom.
Sorry, Nate's mom. Uh, it seems to be a common theme of technology industry doing stupid things this week. But Apple has tried and failed to trademark Touch ID, and so they basically want the rights to the name. And apparently, there's some other product, I didn't research it, that is named X Company Touch ID, and
Hmm.
so therefore Apple cannot call it Touch ID. Well, they can call it that, but they can't
Right,
stop
they
other
can't
people.
trademark it.
Yeah, they can't stop other people from trademarking it. Not trademarking it. They can't stop other people from calling it that as well. So there's rumors that it's just going to be rebranded in the fall, which will be interesting. Um, so we'll see if they do anything with that.
Trying to find the article now about that.
But
They have it's a biometric timekeeping firm called Kronos, which
Kronos,
was
that's it.
first released in 2005.
Yep, that makes sense now. I remember that. I remember reading that name, I think.
Okay, okay. So what it is for as far as Kronos goes is it reads your fingerprints as a time clock. So when you go to work and you clock in, it reads your fingerprints. When you clock out, it reads your fingerprints again and records it.
That makes it simpler.
Yep. And
Uh,
it actually turns out that I've used it once or twice.
oh, does it sound familiar? Yeah.
Hmm.
All right. Well, in other Apple news, I guess everybody's following the iWatch trend, and no one really knows it's called the iWatch. We're just call it that for simplicity's sake. But supposedly there's going to be three models: a high end, a medium grade, and a low end one. And most of the differences come in the resolution of the screen, I believe, and the quality of the glass. But of course, no one knows any of this, so I don't even know if I should even be talking about it because it's totally speculation, and it could be a complete waste of time to speak about. But I think it's worth mentioning,
We could talk about. Here's the thing, though. If we're going to talk about that, then we could talk about the new OnePlus phone coming out. So
which might never happen.
probably won't. No.
They're still doing those dumb promos on Facebook. I need to unfollow them on Facebook and Twitter. It's just getting annoying. Like, here we have invites. Oh, they're all gone. Oh, really? That was like 15 seconds, and I'm pretty sure one guy
How
with a
many invites did you give out? Like
yeah,
5?
and I'm
Screw you.
pretty sure one guy in China with a botnet claimed them all anyway. So
Exactly.
yeah, so I'm not sure that it was really fair, but you can keep thinking that if you want to. OnePlus, if it makes you sleep at night.
Yeah, right. Hey, whatever gets your rocks off, you know.
Yeah, exactly. If they gotta do what they gotta do, I guess. In other sketchy tech company news, Amazon is prepping Kindle Unlimited as if they haven't rolled out enough subscription services lately. I don't know if it's going to be included in Prime, but basically it's going to be a Netflix type of service where you can read books basically free. I would assume it would be a standalone service because that sounds like an expensive thing to license out to me
It
anyway.
does.
So we'll see if that takes off and if it's included in Prime. Um, I actually just signed up for Prime Student the other day so I could get textbooks real quick.
Nice.
Uh, so we'll see if I like that. I'm probably gonna end up paying for it afterwards just because I buy little things on there all the time. I guess I
Well,
could
I
talk.
was I was watching television today with the old man, and I saw a commercial, and apparently Kindle Fire phone is now available through AT&T.
Oh yeah, did we talk about that on here before? I think
I
we did.
think we did, yes.
Yeah. Yeah, I think it's available on a contract now. Still won't make me buy it.
Nope.
Not a chance.
Mm-mm.
I guess we could have talked about this back with the FBI if we wanted to get real organized. But Snowden, Edward Snowden, as he's been doing recently, did an article review with The Guardian in London, I think. And he basically said that he's not planning to come back to the United States anytime soon, which is not a surprise because the
Not a
United States
surprise at all, because if he did come back, he'd be shot in his forehead.
he'd probably be put to death, which is a shame because I don't know how martial law works or anything like that, but it seems to me like he should still get a fair trial. I feel like that's
I
just the
would
American
think.
way. That's just the American way. I don't care about war laws or whatever. It's not a war crime. He was here. He wasn't trying to aid the enemy. Whether or not what he did was illegal, which it probably is, he didn't sell it to, China or whatever. He just came out and said, hey, you know what? They're spying on you. And he said that to the American people. Whether or not the government thinks that's a bad thing, that's up to interpretation, and that's up to the government to decide. But he came out in the article and said that worst case scenario, he's going to come back, get detained, put in Guantanamo Bay for the rest of his life, and he said that he's okay with that. He says he's content with that. If that's what it comes to, he's fine with it. He said I don't know if the ends justify the means, but he's happy with what he did. Basically, is what he's saying.
Yeah, I don't know. If that'd be one of those things where I would almost demand that I be treated, be given a fair trial. And honestly, that's one of those things where I would leave it up to I'd leave it up to the American people to decide.
Yeah, and sadly, something like that would never happen, but that would be the ideal thing.
Yeah, I agree.
Someday.
And personally, I would much rather see him come back. I'll be perfectly honest with you here. Knowing what we know now about Bo Bergdahl, I would have much rather that Snowden come back than Bo Bergdahl.
Yeah, the only thing is, one was an enemy of the state.
Yeah.
So
But he's an enemy of the state, not an enemy of the public.
that's true. That's a very good point. I never really thought about it that way.
Bo Bergdahl is an asshole.
Sounds like it's
He
me.
walked off his post. That's for a different show.
That's for a military policy podcast. We should start. We should start one of those.
Hey, man. Not tonight, but sometime.
We're gonna have a politics podcast. We're gonna have this podcast. We're gonna have a fiscal policy podcast, monetary policy podcast if we want. We can go all kinds of different routes with this. Very open to these things.
Absolutely. Same here.
Next thing I wanted to talk about was Nokia, and if you remember a couple of months ago, or it's probably been close to a year actually, Nokia got bought out by Microsoft, at least their mobility division.
Yep.
And they bought them just to keep the Windows Phone closer to home. But Nokia's mobility division started a Android program called Nokia X, and it seems I've never messed with one. I haven't paid much attention to it, but I think it's kind of a Windows-y experience, but it's Android.
Yep.
And now they're dead. They're not doing it anymore.
That's funny.
Surprising news? Maybe, maybe not. I don't know. But it's not happening.
GSM Arena reported 11 hours ago, Microsoft kills Nokia X Android phones, lays off 18,000 people.
18,000 people.
18,000 people.
Something like 14% of their workforce.
That is ridiculous.
That's
That's
insane.
within the next year, of course.
Right,
But
not
still,
instantaneously. But
if you can actually, that's one of those things where it was a good idea on Nokia's part to not just work on Windows phones, to come around and work on Android phones as well was a great idea. And it made that many jobs. And can you imagine if Nokia can make a Windows phone work that well? Imagine what they would do with an Android phone. You know?
especially since Android's so easy to make work. And I'm not an OEM, I don't own a company or anything, but I don't know. It seems like a lot of people are doing it really well these days. Samsung, LG, HTC. It
Even
doesn't.
Samsung is coming around and finally getting rid of TouchWiz,
TouchWiz is slowly dying in a hole, and I'm glad.
and that makes me so happy.
You
And
especially probably because your life has been personally affected. Raise your hand if you've been personally victimized by TouchWiz. Yep. And so, yep, yep. So I figured you would raise your hand, but
yeah, it was. I hate TouchWiz with a burning
TouchWiz
passion.
slowly dying, so that's good.
Hmm.
Facebook and I need to get more positive tech news. Facebook is doing more stupid stuff. Okay, here's the thing. Did you see this?
Yes, I did.
Freaking okay. Here's what they need to do. They need to divert the funds that they're using to, get resources for this project and hire all of the people Microsoft just laid off. Because I don't know, have them stuff file cabinets or something. I don't know. They're making a Facebook app only for celebrities called Mentions. Sounds sounds innocent at first. All it does is allow celebrities to thumb through and see who's talking about them where on any social network. Why?
That is just so beyond stupid.
Do they not have Google?
That's just one of those things where it becomes more and more apparent that these gigantic tech developers do not give two shits about us.
A normal person.
Right, yeah.
Nothing. They don't. I mean, it's like if you're that self-absorbed to need to sit in front of your couch and watch the Mentions app scroll by as everyone talks about you and swoons over you, then I don't know. Might need to do some soul searching there.
Yeah, just a little bit.
I'm not gonna name these
That's
celebrities by
one of
name
those
because I don't.
things where you really have to. If you actually care how many people are actually mentioning your name or putting you in a post or subject or anything like that, that you have to check every friggin' minute to see. It's just, to
It's a
quote
question.
Carly Simon, "You're so vain.
You
This
probably
song
think
is
the song is
definitely
about
about
you.
you."
Most certainly about you. Like we said at the beginning of the show, Nate's got somewhere to be. We're gonna cut the show short. It's not really cutting it short because there wasn't that much this week.
There
But
really
one
wasn't, no.
last thing I wanted to bring up was Google Glass has been available for $1,500 to the public for a while now. It may be still in developing stages. It's not full release version yet, but you've been able to buy it for a while. But now you can do what's I think they're calling it the test drive program, and it's only available in certain cities. I think New York, LA, and maybe San Francisco. You basically sign up for an appointment, you get fitted. They teach you how to use Google Glass, and I think I'm not for sure you get to walk away with it. Did you see that? I think you get to.
That's news to me, man, because I haven't heard any of this.
It
Either
just
way, it just seems.
it was pretty new, and the thing is, it's free. It's not $1,500. If I lived in a big city, I would go try it. Would you?
Absolutely. If I
I'd
lived
go give
in
it a
one of those
shot.
test markets, I would do it in a heartbeat.
I would do it, and especially since, of course, I have this channel. I have subscribers that want content, and I would be more than happy to go to a test drive. Uh, and do just like all first impressions. I don't know. I wouldn't get a full review because I probably wouldn't get to keep it that long. But uh, it'd be cool just to experience them before it's a mainstream thing in 100 years.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'll tell you what, though. If I had spent $1,500 on Google Glass in the Explorer program, and all of a sudden Google comes out with this test drive program, and I don't care if they get to keep it or not. If I'd spent $1,500 on this before I even got to try it, I'd be so pissed.
I probably would be too, because I mean, there's gonna be people that test drive it and then turn around and buy it. It's gonna happen.
Yeah, absolutely.
All right.
It's just
Well, you
so
gotta
much
run.
stupid going on today this week.
Yeah, hopefully next week, like hopefully somebody releases something kind of cool in the next week. We'll see if they do.
I will have a full review of the Model S next week.
Oh hell yeah, dude! We'll put that on here. I'll find out. I'll figure out how to. Can you when we screen share? Does the sound go through? I don't. We need. I
I
don't
don't
ever.
believe so because I don't think you heard when I was playing Weird Al earlier.
Oh, I didn't. You're right.
Yep.
Were you screen sharing though?
Yeah, I thought I was. Eh.
All right. Well, you
On that
gotta.
note, for
Yeah.
those of you who haven't heard it yet, Weird Al's new album is out now. It's called Mandatory Fun. It's available on the Amazon. Ooh, wow. It's available on Amazon, iTunes, and your local record store. Hit up your local record store.
Yeah, definitely go to
Check it
the
out.
local record store.
Whoa. I don't know what that was, but it came up quick. Whew. Um,
Yeah.
but at any rate, he's got 8 new music videos coming out. 4 of them are already out. There will be another one tomorrow. And currently he's got Foil, which is a cover of Royals. He's got Word Crimes, which is a cover of Blurred Lines. Tacky, which is a cover of Happy. And what's the one that came out today?
Handy. It's a parody
Handy.
of Fancy.
Yes, by Iggy Azalea.
It's pretty good. I like Handy the best I gotta say so far.
Handy's pretty hysterical. I'll be perfectly honest with you. Word Crimes is my favorite thus far, just because I'm a huge grammar Nazi.
Oh yeah, it's definitely the most socially relevant one
Mm-hmm.
of the 4. And if you don't know, he's releasing 8 of the music videos right in a row. So there will be or should be a music video for the next 4 days still.
Yep. And they're all going to be hysterical. Just check out WeirdAl.com.
All right, folks. Well, we are out of topics and we are out of random things to talk about. Nate's got to get out of here. If you're still here, be sure to like this video, share my channel, subscribe, whatever you want to do. And I guess we will see you next week at this same time, 8 o'clock Central, 9 p.m. Eastern. And I'm Evan, and I'm out of here.
I'm Nate.
Peace.